What is going on, everybody? AHS Rules back again with another video, and I think this might be the most fun I've had in making a video because I spent a lot of time working on this, and I've had this planned for a couple of weeks. Now, if hopefully you watched my video last week titled Things I Would Like to See Happen in WWE after WrestleMania 39, and a couple of those already have not happened. The main title, main thumbnail of the picture involved Jay White, and he's in AEW. I don't remember if I suggested this or not, but I was definitely thinking it. New and fresh challengers for the World Championships, and I was mainly suggesting Cody Rhodes being World Champion. We all know how that has went. And one of the main ones I suggested, and I said I'm even going to make a video following up on it, is a WWE Draft, because they've put this off for quite a while. We've seen the rosters be the same for a while, even though for probably like the last half of a year, the rosters don't really matter because the Usos, Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens just show up when they're needed somewhere. And like obviously with the Usos, they probably had to because they're both tag team champions, but that's besides the point. So like I said, I've had this planned for a while, and then luckily, or I guess fittingly, Triple H announced that they will have the draft in the next couple of weeks. So in this video, I am showcasing how I would book the 2023 WWE Draft. Now in this video, I got a couple of housekeeping and rules that I'll point out. So let me just get right into that. So thing number one, there are 4 individuals I am not having in this draft. Logan Paul, because I'm not going to say he's a free agent because of the contract, but just like he shows up when and where he's needed. When he was feuding with Roman, he was on SmackDown. When he was feuding with Seth, he would show up on Raw. So I don't have him signed to an exclusive brand. Naomi. Now, you're probably wondering why the hell I'm bringing her up. She's still on the active roster. And we don't know really what her status is. I just don't have her involved. Randy Orton. He is injured at the moment. Get well soon. We want to see you back, but we want to see you healthy. I just said we probably want to see you. No, we want to see you healthy and safe. So Randy, I don't have him involved. I don't think you'd be wanting to draft someone of such a big stature, and a lot of people are anticipating to come back, and then you just got to wait even longer for him. Even though there are a handful of injured individuals I do have involved in the draft, but I feel Randy is such a big name that you wouldn't want to announce. You want him to come back out of nowhere and have a surprise. Spoiler alert, if I was to draft him, it would be on SmackDown. And then last but not least, this one, definitely a bit interesting, but Bray Wyatt. We have no clue where this man went. Hopefully, everything is well with him. And I guess by virtue, Uncle Howdy's involved with this, but I don't think I saw Uncle Howdy on the WWE roster page. So that's besides the point. But it's just like, Bray Wyatt, we don't know where he is at necessarily. So again, you really want to announce someone if you don't know their status. Now, I know in real life and in all this, we got a lot of rumors going out around in the WWE that people are unhappy or people are happy. It's just like, I based this draft and the draft pool off the active WWE roster page. I triple checked it. I'm pretty sure I drafted everybody. I might have forgot a name or two, but I know 95% of the people will be drafted except for the NXT roster. That was the last housekeeping rule I need to get to. I did not involve NXT in this due to the main fact of they're trying to still rebuild their brand up, and a good majority of the people that you would want to see drafted from NXT, aka Carmelo Hayes and Braun Breaker, are probably going to stay in NXT for a while just to build the brand back up, and we already saw the tease that the continuation of the Braun Breaker and Carmelo Hayes feud, so I do not have them, the NXT roster, part of the draft because I didn't know of a logical way really to involve them. But let's get into this draft. I have 20 draft picks for Raw, 20 for SmackDown. I have the supplementary draft where that's where the rest of the roster will be selected. It doesn't really matter. And then I would break down rivalries and feuds and matchups I like to see with these rosters. Also, I'm going to try to bring a little bit of realism into this and kind of use real sports terms like the higher up. You get the point. If you're an NBA or NFL fan and like the NFL draft's coming up soon, it's just like, and you watch and analyze, I would use that for some of these. So with that being the case, the first 3 draft picks I have for SmackDown, like, loads their roster up. So let's, again, go right into it. I have SmackDown having the first overall pick. I guess one last rule that I should have went through that has been the case for the past couple of drafts is SmackDown. Tag teams stayed together unless you want to break them up, which I did not break up any tag teams. So again, this really benefits and helps SmackDown with the first 3 draft picks I have for them. But their first overall pick is the most logical one, and it's not even one person. It is 4. I have SmackDown selecting the Bloodline. Roman Reigns, Solo Sikoa, and the Usos. I guess you can include Paul Heyman in that, so that's 5 people. Roman has carried SmackDown. He's been SmackDown for the past couple of years. He's obviously still undisputed Universal Champion right now, so he can appear on Raw when need be, and etc. But it's just like they've carried SmackDown for the past 3 years now, so I don't think they would want to change anything. Raw's number 1 overall pick is Bianca Belair. She's the face of the women's division right now. She's held the Raw women's title for over a year now. Again, not really wanting to change it up. And with SmackDown, their 2nd overall pick, just so we don't have to do the bull crap title swapping, even though Raw already has their women's champion. SmackDown, again, loading up. I have SmackDown selecting the Judgment Day, number 2 overall. We're getting different setting for the Judgment Day because they've been on Raw, even though Dominic and Rhea have been on SmackDown for the past month. But they are now moving on over to the SmackDown brand. And like I said, Rhea's already the SmackDown Women's Champion. It just makes the most sense. Next, number 2 for Raw, Cody Rhodes. There's not really much to say about Cody. We kind of wishing you're world champion by now. But I think it's probably best, because we don't know when this Roman matchup is going to take place again. If it takes place again, it's probably best to keep them as far away from each other as they can. But like I said, if Roman needs be, he can appear on Raw when he needs to. But for Cody's sake, I just kind of I'm keeping him away from Roman and the Bloodline. Number 3, again, stacking SmackDown. I have them selecting Imperium and keeping Gunther as their Intercontinental Champion. He's probably, I said this in my video last week, he's probably my favorite wrestler in WWE right now, and I just, again, don't really want to change anything up, and I'm keeping him on SmackDown. And at number 3 for Raw, I have them selecting the tag team of Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Now, the benefit with this tag team is obviously all tag teams have their singles wrestlers, or with this tag team, they are 2 singles wrestlers. They're masters of the singles wrestlers, but right now, they're tag team champions. And again, this is the last time I'll say it, they can appear on both brands because they are obviously the Undisputed Tag Team Champions. I just have them, their main brand being Monday Night Raw. Now, a little bit of a change. At number 4, I have Seth Rollins going back to SmackDown. A good majority of the times that we've seen these drafts, Seth only spent 1 year on SmackDown. It was a very quick year, so he is now returning to the blue brand. Mainly, that way he is more closer to Roman Reigns, and we get that rematch of the Royal Rumble bullcrap that we saw last year. At number 4, I know he's a part-timer. I know we're not going to see him that often, but I have Brock Lesnar going to Raw. We are anticipating the continuation of the Brock and Cody feud. How and how long it's going to take, I don't really know, but I just have him being on Raw. And again, like I just said with Seth, he's been on Raw a good majority of the time period since we've had these more recent drafts. At number 5, I have Seth Rollins' partner, Becky Lynch, a real-life partner. Again, I tried my best. I'm pretty sure people that are in public relationships, I kept them drafted on the same brand, which, spoiler alert for the Street Profits, where they're going. But it's just like, that's kind of, WWE tries their best to do it. Sometimes WWE intentionally does it and screw around, but I try my best to do that. And with Becky, we want to see the Becky and Rhea matchup. And again, we have not seen Becky back on SmackDown in quite a while, so now she returns home to the blue brand. At number 5 for Raw, to counter Gunther in the Intercontinental Championship, Austin Theory stays on Monday Night Raw, and Raw keeps the United States Championship. At number 6, another person returning back home to the blue brand. He is now currently on the blue brand. I don't know why I kept saying it, but it's just like, when you think of this individual, you think of SmackDown. Rey Mysterio. We're probably going to see the continuation of the Judgment Day feud. So again, it would make the most. And he doesn't have to run away from Dominic now. They've already had their match, and we'll probably have more matchups. So you don't have to have that storyline that he doesn't want to be near Dominic anymore. So I kept Rey on SmackDown. Number 6, another change for Raw: Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler. When you look at the heel side for the women's division, it's a bit messy because obviously the top heel is Rhea Ripley. And again, I kind of went over this the past couple of weeks. The SmackDown women's division at the moment sucked, and the main example was that you had to take one star away from Raw to help their division. And I feel that a lot of people hate on Ronda and Shayna. Some necessarily, some criticism necessary, some not. But I think Ronda and Shayna still have that heel factor and bad person factor, and they're moving that over to the Raw brand, and we're getting fresh matchups with Ronda, Shayna, and Bianca Belair because we've not seen those happen so far. And again, it's just a change of scenery. At number 7, another change of scenery: Bobby Lashley. Again, since we've done these more recent drafts, Bobby Lashley has stayed on Raw. He has not moved back to SmackDown. He has not been on SmackDown since 2006 because he's on the ECW brand 07 and all that crap. But you get the point. Again, it's some change of scenery, and it gets him closer to Brock Lesnar, and we want to see that Brock Lesnar and Bobby Lashley matchup. And again, if we don't, it gets him way closer to Gunther because we thought we were going to get that match at Survivor Series last year. Then obviously we didn't, but we can get it now because Bobby and Gunther are on the SmackDown brand. Number 7, the first of an injured person getting drafted, and this is a group, though. The OC. Raw's finally getting some revenge on SmackDown, who drafted a lot of factions, and they're drafting their own faction. AJ Styles, Luke Gallows, and Carl Anderson. And the good thing is we have not seen them in quite a while. And depending on what you need more of, you can either have the group be faces, or you can have the group be heels. And again, I know that AJ carried SmackDown from like 2016 to 2019, because I'm pretty sure he went to Raw in 2019, but it's just kind of like I'm familiarized with AJ being on Raw for quite a while now. Number 8 for SmackDown to help their women's division out: Damage Control. Now, we don't know what Bayley's status is, but for now, I'm just having her involved with this and leaving Damage Control on the SmackDown side. Also, I probably should have also noted this. I'm just now thinking of it. Lita and Trish Stratus are not a part of this draft because they're not on the active roster, but now that Becky is over on the SmackDown side and Becky and Lita are on the tag team champions, and obviously the women's tag team champions, like, they appear on both brands regardless, but for the standpoint of it, if Lita and Trish are hypothetically drafted, move them to SmackDown. And that way, you can continue that feud if you wanted to. I am not. I have ideas for them later on that I'll get to. Another person's status that we do not know is who Raw drafted at number 8, and that being Drew McIntyre. Now, I think I suggested in my video last week, I suggested that Drew turn heel. And I at least would be intrigued by a Drew McIntyre and Cody Rhodes rivalry because they've had very similar career path. They were tag team champions at once. I feel that is very, 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 very forgotten. And obviously, it was a short tag team title reign, and they really didn't have any chemistry here. They were just really throwing together their team, and then they even lost. I'm fairly certain they lost the tag team titles to John Cena and David Otunga. And I know, like, if they were to hypothetically have a storyline, that probably wouldn't be brought up, but you just get the point. I'm changing Drew's scenery because we've seen him on SmackDown for quite a while. Number 9, another part-timer. I hate saying that. It kind of sounded very, like, oh my God, part-timer. But this person appears a lot more than you would anticipate. At number 9, I have Edge returning to SmackDown. Now, also, like, Edge is a superstar, a legend in this case, and you're probably like, why is he getting drafted on? It's just like, logically, you need to think of star power and who's going to be there every week. Whereas Edge, we don't know what his stats are going to be most weeks, because like I said, there's definitely some stars that I have drafted lower just because we don't know their availability. And so that's kind of like in real life sports. If somebody's injured in their rookie, unless they are like absolutely a great player, they normally slip. So in this standpoint, if someone is injured or we don't know what their availability is going to be, they would slip. So that's why I like Edge, a legend, kind of slipped in this draft because We don't know when he's going to be there. So, like I said, I want to bring a little bit of realistic sports to this, but I have Edge returning to SmackDown. And I know it's been a while since we've seen Edge and Roman interact with one another, and I definitely do not want to see Edge and the Judgment Day interact again, because we've seen that for the past year or so. And number 9 for Raw, another person, we don't know what their availability is going to be, Charlotte Flair. The main reason I did this is I want to see Charlotte Flair and Bianca Belair. Now, I might be wrong with this, but I think I'm right. Bianca Belair needs to beat Charlotte Flair, and she would be the first woman to beat all 4 of the 4 horsewomen. Now, I know WWE's not going to bring that up because one of the 4 horsewomen's not in WWE, and the second one might be out of the door. I'm not buying into the Bayley bull crap. That's besides the point. Bianca Belair, I believe Alexa Bliss are the 2, because Bianca and Alexa have beat the other 3. They need to beat Charlotte, and Bianca and Charlotte would be a big-time matchup whenever it takes place. But like I said, we don't know what Charlotte's availability is going to be. I'm not rushing any of this injured. I'm not rushing them back. I'd rather them be safe and healthy than come back and something bad happen. So, but Charlotte, star power, and again, she should probably be a top draft pick, but again, at this moment, she's taking time away. That's why she slipped in the draft. Now, to complete the top 10 for SmackDown, The New Day. I mainly would like to see them interact with the Judgment Day, and that's mainly just because both groups have Day in their name, but you get the point, keeping them on SmackDown. And you can include Big E in this. Again, I keep bringing up injury people, but I'd like to see Big E back with the New Day, and again, whenever Big E comes back, safe and sound, him versus Roman Reigns is a very big-time matchup I would be intrigued by, but we all know Roman's going to win, LOL. And last, to complete the top 10 for Raw, we have Sheamus and the Brawling Brutes. Again, a bit of change of scenery. I would imagine Sheamus would be very frustrated with this because he is not close to Gunther in the Intercontinental Championship. But guess what, buddy? You had 3 chances to win the championship in the past year and you lost. So that's me being an a-hole. But I'm intrigued and want to see the Sheamus and Drew dynamic continue. And again, you can continue it with Drew being a heel and Sheamus being a face this time around. And again, you need that. Also, the Brawling Brutes versus Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, I would be intrigued by that. Now, we got to move on to the next 10 draft picks for the other, or you get the point. So, at number 11 for SmackDown, we have Raquel Rodriguez. Now, Rhea Ripley, I've mentioned this in a couple of videos, but Rhea Ripley and Raquel had several matchups in NXT, and if I'm not wrong, I'm pretty sure Raquel won a good majority of those. So we already know that she's had Rhea's number in the past. And we just saw recently that Rhea was looking to claim vengeance over Charlotte for that standpoint. So you'd think the same thing for Raquel Rodriguez. Now, at number 11 for Raw, I have Asuka. The good thing with this is I would be intrigued by an Asuka versus Ronda and Shayna rivalry, and I think that would actually be pretty nuts and bonkers, but who really knows what that would happen. And the thing with Asuka right now, and I know I keep mentioning face and heel, I couldn't tell you which one she is. She kind of fits in, like, she's a face and gets cheered, but she's evil, and so she kind of fits the role of the heel. So whatever circumstance the women's division would need, Asuka can fill that void over here on the Raw brand. At number 12, I have LWO. I don't remember what their faction name was before this, but Santos Escobar and his crew, keeping them on the SmackDown brand, closer to Rey Mysterio. I can see that, like, I know they're aligned with Rey at the moment, but I can see that down the line, them breaking up, and once the Judgment Day, Dominic, Rey storyline is complete, Santos turns on Rey, and we get a story out of that. But for now, we got the LWO continuing their story with the Judgment Day. Now, number 12, the Street Profits, Raw. We kind of want to see them. I'm not going to say we want to see them break up, but a lot of people have pushed to see Montez compete in singles action, and I feel that him, in theory, would have some great matchups. And then I just don't want to leave Angelo Dawkins in the dust. And I know that we just saw on Raw this past week the Street Profits versus Owens and Zayn, but definitely we could see that matchup again down the line. Number 13 for SmackDown. We saw a tease that he's coming back. And again, he's another man that has stayed on the same brand during his time period, that is Shinsuke Nakamura. I know that we've seen him compete against Gunther and Roman Reigns in the past, but I'm not going to say, I guess the best word to use is retooling him and going to reintroduce him next week and in the future. And I feel if you build him up properly, the Gunther and Roman Reigns matchups would make more sense. And they're obviously going to be better because Nakamura is a legend, but it's just bringing him back. Number 13, Liv Morgan gets drafted to Raw for the standpoint of she's never been Raw Women's Champion. She's already been the SmackDown Women's Champion. And I wouldn't push to see her and Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler continue their rivalry, but it's just a little bit of unfinished business on the Liv Morgan standpoint. But again, she hasn't been Raw Women's Champion. Let's push her and see if she can acclaim that championship. Number 14, another individual that just recently returned, Matt Riddle. I have wrote down on my notes Riddle, but I just remembered that. I'm pretty sure they still call him Matt Riddle. I would love and be intrigued with a Gunther and Matt Riddle matchup. I think the best situation for Riddle, though, is Randy Orton coming back, because a lot of the fans do like Riddle. But if you want to make him a monster heel and have fans hate on him, whenever Randy Orton comes back, you reunite them and Riddle turns on Orton. Because most of the time, when Orton's in a tag team or a group, he turns on the other person. I don't know how many people would see Riddle doing it. And again, people loved RK Bro, and Riddle loved Randy in this standpoint. Riddle, he hasn't had the best year. And it kind of went downhill once Randy Orton went out with injury. And so now he would be seeking revenge over Randy. And I know I'm kind of talking about a bunch of different crap with Riddle, but I have him going to SmackDown. At number 14, I have another top heel, one that is very over with the fans, definitely, and that is LA Knight. Yeah, and I know we saw LA Knight and Cody already have a match, but with more storyline and more pomp and circumstance, I love throwing these big words out there, I feel it could be a bigger deal, and LA Knight really has a lot of good material to go after Cody Rhodes. Also, if Theory hypothetically dropped the U.S. title, obviously, I'd like to see him drop it to a face. Montez Ford, maybe. I'm not even against Cody holding the U.S. title. I know we could start asking questions about it, but you get the point. But I mainly have LA Knight over on the Raw brand to be a good heel. Number 15 for SmackDown, Alexa Bliss, just because their women's side still doesn't have the most. They don't have a lot of faces on the women's side because so far there's only been drafted as Raquel, Becky, and it adds Alexa back to her home brand, the first brand that she was on. And again, it's been quite a while since we've seen Alexa on SmackDown. Number 15, to boost up the tag team division, I have the Viking Raiders. Again, I kind of am getting repetitive and boring, but I would be intrigued by Viking Raiders. I don't know what I just call them. Viking Raiders versus Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Also, my foot is falling asleep, so that's why I'm like maneuvering and crap. I don't want to get a cramp because that would be very painful. Number 16. Said it a couple times, but it's been a while since we've seen this individual back on SmackDown, but this one being The Miz. We already saw the tease on Raw Monday of Miz and Riddle. That's probably just a one-off, but I want to see him back on the blue brand. And I don't want to see him beat Gunther, obviously, but maybe in the near future, after Gunther breaks the Intercontinental title run, I'm pretty sure Miz is either tied or one away from breaking the number of times being Intercontinental Champion, and he can't do that from the Raw brand. Number 16, again, boosting up the Raw Tag Team division, I have Alpha Academy. Whether they break up in the near future or not, who really knows? But I'm going to say this for several individuals. Chad Gable, future United States Champion. I would be down for it. Number 17, to boost up SmackDown's Women's Division, Natalya. Now, at this point, you're kind of split even with heels and faces in the Women's Division. And Natalya, it just varies on what the rivalry is, what she is. Like right now, she's a face. But literally next week, she can be a heel. So, Natalya, always good with that. Number 17, for Raw. Somewhat forgotten and could be a bigger deal if we get a change of scenery. Karrion Kross. That is, like I said, going to Raw, it's a change of scenery. You're getting something new out of him. We haven't seen much from him since his return, but it is what it is. Number 18. Now, I know this one's a bit, could be confusing, but for SmackDown, it's a very smart move to make. Ricochet and Braun Strowman. Now, I hate that, they're literally a thrown together tag team. Like, there's no tag team name. It was just situational. But again, from the standpoint of SmackDown and not having one of them fall to the supplementary draft, it would kind of be smart to draft them together. Number 18 for Raw, Johnny Gargano. Again, another individual I want to see in the United States Championship picture and see a bigger deal made of him after WrestleMania and in this new era. Number 19 for SmackDown. He's a big name. He probably should have fell to the supplementary draft, but he's been booked very heavily and a lot over the past 2 to 3 years. Omos. Again, it's a bit of change of scenery, but I have Omos going to SmackDown. And I've said it a couple times already. We're 25 minutes into this video. I would be intrigued by Omos and Gunther. That is besides the point. Number 19 for Raw, Candice LeRae. Boost up the women's face side. And her and Johnny Gargano, obviously in a public relationship, keeping the couple together. Now, the last two actual draft picks for SmackDown, Bronson Reed. Last time I'll be able to say it. Would be intrigued by him versus Gunther. And he's already teased having a rivalry with Bobby Lashley, who is on the SmackDown brand. And number 20 for Raw, Sonya Deville. I think an alliance of Sonya, Shayna, and Ronda makes a lot of sense. And I know that we kind of saw a half-assed rivalry of Sonya and Bianca last year, but I feel they could do a lot better than what they did. So, that was the first 20 draft picks. Now we're getting into the supplementary draft, where it's just random, no real order, kind of splitting it up and mixing it up. And there are definitely some big names involved with this. So for the Raw side, I have them on with the supplementary draft. Bobby Roode. We've not seen him in a minute, but I would like to see him on the Raw brand. Could help out. I'm not gonna say, he could definitely help out the United States title scene, but definitely help out Cody Rhodes and have a great rivalry with him. Elias, Mia Yim, Nikki Cross, Baron Corbin, another individual we have not seen in a while. Tommaso Ciampa. Everything that I just said about Bobby Roode, copy and paste for Tommaso Ciampa. Hit Row, Madcap Moss, Lacey Evans, Xia Li, Carmella. Main reason because her and Corey Graves, public relationship, and Corey Graves commentates on Monday Night Raw. Emma, which Madcap Moss, same crap that I just said. Dexter Lumis, and the Maximum Male Models. For the SmackDown side in the supplementary draft, these first couple draft picks for them are crazy and great value in the supplementary draft. Dolph Ziggler, who I don't think you could, there probably is like one, maybe, but it's just like, I don't think off the top of my head I can name a bad Dolph Ziggler matchup. And again, bring him back to the SmackDown brand. I know he's been flip-flop for the past couple years, but SmackDown 2016 era, you think of Dolph Ziggler a lot of times in that great feud that he had with The Miz, and just bring him back to SmackDown and put on great matchups. Mustafa Ali, copy and paste like half of what I just said about Dolph Ziggler. Now this one would be a great draft pick and something that a lot of fans have been asking for quite a while. Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander reunite the Hurt Business, maybe, and I think this would really help the tag team division. And like I said, with Bobby Lashley, because he fits very well in the either facing Gunther side or facing the Roman Reigns side, and obviously Roman Reigns and Gunther have help in their groups, Bloodline and Imperium. Bobby Lashley would have help with Cedric and Shelton in the Hurt Business 3.0. Even though they shouldn't have, like by now, they probably should have broke up, but like when they broke up the first time, it sucked. The second time, I don't even know why they got back together. So maybe in baseball, I'm a big baseball guy now. I got the Red Sox hat on. But in baseball, it's 2 strikes and you're out. Give it a third chance. And then if it doesn't work, you're out. Then I have Angel Garza and Humberto Carrillo. Just so, because we already have LWO here, and I know it's kind of stereotyping, but it's not really. But I think they would have a great series of matchups and bring back SmackDown back to its glory days, the Ruthless Aggression era. And I know like they don't have a cruiserweight division anymore, but it's just like Lucha Libre, cruiserweight style wrestling, and I think they would have a great series of matchups. Chelsea Green, Aaliyah, Piper Niven, Dana Brooke, Rick Boogs, R-Truth, who we have not seen in a while, and he is injured. I just had to put him down because that. Akira Tozawa, Tamina, and last two, Shotzi and Nox, who I almost forgot. And I know they're not a tag team, but they used to be. I don't know why. I understand, sadly, why they had to break up, because one of them got fired, but they're now back. I don't know when she came back. Why did she realign herself with Shotzi? Also, pretty sure they still have a tag team title shot because they never got it because of the situations I just said. So that is the draft. I'm going to quickly go over the top 20 from each side, and then I would go over like a breakdown analyzing what they did. So, SmackDown, The Bloodline, Judgment Day, Imperium, Seth Rollins, Becky Lynch, Rey Mysterio, Bobby Lashley, Damage Control, Edge, The New Day, Raquel Rodriguez, almost said Gonzalez, the LWO, Shinsuke Nakamura, Riddle, Alexa Bliss, The Miz, Natalya, Ricochet, Braun Strowman, Omos, and Bronson Reed. For Raw, Bianca Belair, Cody Rhodes, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, Brock Lesnar, Austin Theory, Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler, The OC, Drew McIntyre, Charlotte Flair, Sheamus with the Brawling Brutes, Asuka, Street Profits, Liv Morgan, L.A. Knight, yeah, Viking Raiders, Alpha Academy, which I think that's their name. I always want to call them American Academy or American Alpha, which is definitely, that's not their name, but I'm pretty sure it's Alpha Academy. Karrion Kross, Johnny Gargano, Candice LeRae, and Sonya Deville. So when you look at the face side, the top faces on the SmackDown brand, Seth Rollins, you can fit him under both, but the main reason I put Seth on SmackDown is so that he can go after Roman, who is obviously the top heel. Rey Mysterio, Bobby Lashley, which you can say the same thing that I just said about Seth, but you can fit him in with Bobby and Gunther, Edge, and Shinsuke Nakamura. The top heels on SmackDown, Roman Reigns, Solo Sikoa, Gunther, Finn Balor, which, best wishes Finn Balor, because he is hurt, but I imagine he will come back soon, and The Miz. The top faces on SmackDown for the women's division, Becky Lynch, Raquel Rodriguez, Alexa Bliss, and then I put Natalya, even though I said it varies by need, but I feel there are more heel women's wrestlers on the SmackDown side than there are face, so that's why I have Natalya on the face side. For the heel women's side, I have Rhea Ripley and Damage Control. And then, obviously, there's more in the Supplementary Draft. Faces, for the face side for the tag team division, The New Day, the LWO, Ricochet and Braun Strowman. They don't have to be a tag team. It doesn't make the most sense for them to be a tag team. But for now, they're still kind of a tag team, so I just left them together. Then the heel tag team side for SmackDown, the Usos, Imperium, and Judgment Day. Whew, we're almost done. We're almost home. For the Raw side, faces, Cody Rhodes. Now, this was, I said we're almost home. I'm going to talk. So, the top faces on Raw, these next three, you can have them be heel because the heel side is a bit lacking, and that's mainly because Brock Lesnar is not going to be there all the time. But Drew, I said it a couple times already, so last time I'll say it for now, I would like to see be a heel. Just have a bit of a character change, and him and Cody facing off would be a big deal. But if you don't want to turn Drew heel, you could turn Sheamus heel, which I don't think they'd want to do that just because Sheamus has been praised and the fans love Sheamus and he's getting proper recognition. I think that's the word. Over the past year or so. AJ Styles, which you could say the same thing that I just said about them, but he's a face for the moment. And then Johnny Gargano. The heel side for Raw, Brock Lesnar, Austin Theory. I know a lot of people don't like you, and a lot of people want to write you off. I have you as a top 5 draft pick for Raw. This is your chance. I'm hypothetically giving Austin Theory a very big chance, and that's mainly just because he is the United States champion at the moment. LA Knight and Karrion Kross. Again, Karrion Kross. And I guess you could say this about LA Knight, even though out of the 3, he's the most popular and liked. Karrion Kross, give me a chance. Be a top heel on Raw. The face side for the women's division on Raw, Bianca Belair, Charlotte Flair. You can be a heel, but I'd imagine for now, have her be with Bianca. Liv Morgan, Asuka, same thing that I just said about Charlotte. Heel side for the women's, Ronda Rousey, Shayna Baszler, Sonya Deville. I know there's only 3, but I named a lot in the Supplementary Draft. Face side for the tag team division, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Again, you can fit them as singles workers, but for now, leave them as a tag team because they're tag team champions. Street Profits, same thing that I just said about Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. And Brawling Brutes, same thing that I just said about Street Profits, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. But for now, leave them as tag teams to help the tag team division out. Heel tag teams, Viking Raiders and Alpha Academy. And I guess, again, I had the supplementary draft. I'm just looking at the top 2 tag teams that I had left. Hit Row and Maximum Male Models. So that is how I would book the 2023 WWE Draft. The WWE, they've already had a couple big changes over the past year or so, and I don't think they're going to slow down and stop changing crap constantly. And I think the next big change that we're going to see is the WWE Draft. And like I said, I've been working on this video for a while, and I had a lot of fun doing it. The main thing is, most of my videos I stutter and like forget crap all the time. Where this one, I didn't. I had all the stuff wrote down in front of me. I said it all. Hopefully you understood all that I said, and you appreciate all the stuff that I said. And thank you. Thank you. So, thank you for watching this video. Please like and subscribe. The next time you should see me is Monday, where I'm talking about the NBA, which I have not done in a hot minute, and I talk about the plan. So, watch that video. Watch this video back. Watch all the other videos that you've missed. Please take care, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.